Hey guys, welcome back to Tracy Motherhood. Today's video I want to talk to you about 5 times that I have been glad I'm childless. I hate to put it like that. As someone that has struggled to become a mom for over 6 years, glad is such a great word to use, but relieved or made easier by being childless, you know what I mean. I have notes. I'm going to go with my notes. So, number 1 has been travel. Traveling, I have traveled, been fortunate enough to travel in Asia, take some cruises, take some other vacations, and I have not traveled with a child. And some of those trips I did completely alone, which were great in a way that I could just do whatever the heck I wanted and not have to worry about anyone. But most of those trips have been with family or friends, and usually just 1 or 2, maybe 3 other people max. But it's been nice because you can just kind of get in and get out and do whatever you want without having to think about having breaks and nap times and feeding times and stuff like that. Also, in terms of transportation, it's a lot easier just to hop in and out of cabs or do whatever. I was actually looking at my brother and I taking a cruise sometime in the future, and it's like, okay, well, with a kid we can just go to whatever hotel, we can take a taxi to that hotel, like this is pre-cruise, and then take a taxi to the port, or we can do whatever. We can take a lot of the times the hotels have shuttle vans or shuttle cars, and so we could just do that. But that's like, okay, well, when you have a kid, if you don't want to travel with a car seat, you then have to kind of think a little bit more about how you're going to get from A to B in a safe way without a car seat. And it's like, okay, well, shuttle buses you're okay with, but shuttle vans and shuttle cars you're not. So just trying to figure out stuff like that, and also like planning excursions and stuff like that, being like, okay, well, we wouldn't be able to do XYZ excursions because it's way too long, way too tiring. It's too much stairs, it's too much climbing to do with a kid, or they're not old enough to do it, was another thing that we came across. So traveling has definitely been easier without a child. Or like a couple weeks ago when I randomly decided to go on a road trip, me and Taylor. Didn't have to think, just went. Number 2, appointments. Like doctor's appointments and dentists and all those kind of appointments that I, like, as a person in life have. It's so much easier to just go by myself and deal with it. I don't have to deal with a child. I don't have to, again, worry about nap time and feeding time and cranky children and whatnot. I just make an appointment and I go to it. I'm by myself, so however long it takes, it takes. During the appointment, if I need an examination, I don't have to think. Especially something like the eye doctor or a dentist where they're like intensely doing something and you can't really move. To deal with a child is probably pretty challenging. Number 3, grocery trips and fast trips in and out of stores. So anytime I've had kids with me before for groceries and stuff like that, I've always had like a snap and go with an infant bucket seat, or we were taking public transportation and none of that mattered. I don't know how it's going to work with a convertible car seat and trying to take a kid in and out, especially in winter in Canada, or if it's raining. But I live in the desert, so it doesn't rain a whole lot, but still, just seems complicated. Right now, I have a bunch of grocery stores that I pop in and out of. I go wherever it's cheapest. I don't focus on, oh, I'm just going to go to this one store. I tend to go to at least 2 stores, with one of those stores maybe being like 2 items that I'm literally just popping out, grabbing those 2 things back to the car in like less than 10 minutes. And I really can't imagine how that works with a child. When I brought Taylor out, Taylor sits in the car because obviously she can't go in a grocery store, and I leave the car running. But I'm not doing that with a kid. Don't think that's legal, and I don't think that's very safe. Kid is a little different than a dog. I leave Taylor alone at home all day. Obviously wouldn't be doing that with a kid. So just those fast trips. It's different like going to the mall when you're getting out and you're going to be there for a while, or if you're doing like a big grocery shop and you're going out of the car for a while, because then it's like, okay, well, it's kind of, I don't want to say worth it, but it makes more sense. Whereas like if I'm going to take 10 minutes to get my kid out of the car and into the buggy, and then we're going to shop for 5 minutes, and then I got to do the whole thing, especially in wintertime, back into the car. Anyway, number 4, late work nights. So I am a teacher. I think people have this magical perception of teachers that we work till 3 o'clock, 8 to 3, and then we're on our way. And nope. I'm often at work late, especially in the beginning of the school year, and during certain times of year, like report card times and assessment times, I'm often there late. There's times with like staff meetings, and we have like PD days and stuff like that I am at work late. Taylor stays at home, and it's not a big deal. I used to, when I first moved here, I was getting a pet sitter to come because I was leaving her in a crate. But as soon as I started leaving her out in the bedroom, I no longer needed the pet sitter to let her out because she had access to everything she needed. With a kid, if you're working late, you can't just kind of leave them wherever they are. I mean, I guess with childcare you can, but you still have to think of that childcare. And then there's days that I don't get home until like 8 o'clock at night. Well, if I'm going to pick my kid up from childcare and then going home, like, it's really complicated. I think obviously I would make adjustments to doing more at home. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I do at work that I can do at home. I just choose to do at work because once I get home, I don't want to do anything. And just making those priorities, right? But there's just some days that I'm like, I'm glad I don't have a kid at home that I have to worry about right now, because I can just work late. And if things change and it's like, oh, tonight I've decided to work late, I can just work late. I don't have to think about childcare and stuff. Whereas I never thought about it before until I started working at this specific school, because my previous schools, no one really had kids. But there was some changes that they were changing some of our late, like our late meeting nights at the beginning of last year. And it was funny because people were like, hey, we need to know dates. And I'm like, why is it such a big deal to know what date it's going to be in, say, June when it's October? But it's childcare, people trying to arrange their childcare. And it's just something that as a single childless person, I've never had to think about. The last thing is sick. I have been sick for like a month. And I know at this point it basically is just stress related and not actual like illness related, because this is what's happened before when I've been really stressed. But at the beginning I had tonsillitis, and then I had an ear infection, and just not feeling great. And I'm still not feeling great. I'm still having issues with hearing. My ears are still very plugged. But anytime that I've been sick, I mean, I'm grateful now because I've had a hysterectomy that my endometriosis flares have greatly decreased. Because there was a lot of times when before I was on my endo meds even, that it was like, if I had a kid right now, I can't even get myself to the bathroom. How would I take care of a child? Whereas now, like, that's basically gone. It's just like the cold symptoms and stuff like that. But I know you just kind of deal. But that kind of scares me. Like, what if I'm sick and she's sick, and then, like, especially like a stomach flu kind of situation? Not fun. It's nice when I'm sick and I don't have a kid, because then I can just sleep or do whatever I want and not have to think of another person. Because Taylor's kind of like, she feeds herself, waters herself. She's not very high maintenance, although she kind of is. But in terms of like life livingness, she's not high maintenance. So anyway, there are my 5 times that I'm glad I am childless, or 5 like situations where I'm glad I'm childless. Traveling, appointments, grocery shopping or fast trips in and out of stores, late work nights, and when I am sick. So I shall see you guys on Friday for my 5 times that I wish I had a kid. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Starting June 1st, if you haven't seen, the channel is completely changing. I've already changed the channel name and slowly changing over things, because changing things takes forever. I've been working on stuff for a long time, so I'm really excited to change everything over and start the new journey with you guys as things kind of shift towards change. So thanks for watching, and I shall see you guys on Friday. Bye, guys.